So when it comes to abandoned stations in the Holborn area, you might have heard of British Museum. You might also have heard of Kingsway tram stop. But have you ever heard of Chancery Lane? Now I know what you're thinking. Jago, though you are both handsome and charismatic, you appear to be a little confused. Chancery Lane station is far from abandoned. We forgive you for this mistake though, and also for any other mistakes you make in your videos, and this overrules anything we may say in the comment section from here on in. Well, you're right. Chancery Lane is not an abandoned station, but it does have an abandoned building. Well, I say abandoned, it is occupied, just not by the underground. But it's here, on High Holborn. Chancery Lane station was built in 1900 by the Central London Railway, predecessor of the Central Line. The Central London liked to put grand buildings up for its stations, and you can see one of these still in use at Oxford Circus. There's another one at Queensway. The idea behind these was firstly to advertise their service, and secondly to give them some space that they could rent out. In 1913, the Central London Railway was taken over by Underground Electric Railways of London, or UERL, who planned to modernise the line. This often involved the total reconstruction of stations to allow for the installation of escalators. In the case of Chancery Lane, they decided to just abandon the station building altogether in favour of subway entrances in the pavement. So that's what they did. Chancery Lane is now probably the easiest Central Line station to miss, having no street-level buildings. Although the building was no longer in use as a station, it didn't lose its connection with the underground. During the Second World War, it would find itself with a strange new purpose. At this time, there were plans to construct a couple of new deep-level express tube lines, one of which would have roughly followed the course of the Central Line. This didn't get built, and in fact the scheme wouldn't be realised until 2022 with the opening of the Elizabeth Line. But as part of this, the government authorised the construction of a series of deep-level air raid shelters which, after the war, could be joined up to form the new lines. The only Central Line shelter that actually got built was at Chancery Lane. It was used to house a government communications centre, and following a brief period as an archive store after the war, it was handed over to the General Post Office in 1949. It was hardened against nuclear attack. It was turned into a telephone exchange, but in the event of a nuclear war, it was to be the main point of telecommunication for London. There were facilities to enable the staff to survive for several months. The site was decommissioned in stages through the 80s and 90s, and I believe it's currently for sale. One of the entrances to this complex was in fact through the old Central London Railway building. The others, if you're curious, were here on Furnivall Lane, and here on Tooks Court, although that's been totally redeveloped since the Cold War. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's not really abandoned tale from the tube. Just a short video today. I'm working on some pretty big videos at the moment that are taking quite a lot of time and research. If you did enjoy this, please do leave a like and consider subscribing for more. I'd like to thank my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. You are the concrete lining to my nuclear bunker. And I will see you all again, as ever, for another tale from the tube.